From Bitcoin, blockchain, or distributed ledger technology to cryptocurrencies, tokens, and initial coin offerings, it seems everyone involved has something to say, but can you really trust their advice? One man's had enough of weasel words and charlatans and is ready to give you impartial, independent analysis. With digestible blockchain bites, ICO analysis, and need-to-know news on cryptocurrencies, author, speaker, transparency and clarity advocate, and award-winning software innovator, Barry James brings you Radio ICO.
Welcome back to Blockchain Radio. I'm Pierre Bourke in Ottawa, Canada, joined today by two members of the British Blockchain Association. Sharon Henley joining us from Wales in the UK. Hello, Sharon. Welcome to Blockchain Radio.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Glad to have you with us. Sharon is the Director of Marketing and Communications at the British Blockchain Association. And we've also got our colleague Barry James, a member of the BBA's Executive Committee and Chair of its Executive Committee for Finance. Hello, Barry. Welcome back to Blockchain Radio.
Hi, Pierre. Good to talk to you again. And by the way, it's finance, startups, and ICOs. Don't demote me just yet.
All right. Well, we'll see how we do in this interview before we decide to uptick you or downtick you. All right. Perhaps we'll start with Sharon here. Tell us a bit about the British Blockchain Association, how it came about.
Absolutely. So the British Blockchain Association has been around for a little over a year now. And really it came about because we wanted to build an organization, and at its core, it really is about supporting the creation and adoption of innovative ideas around blockchain. And basically what that means is we're trying to bring together people in this space, be it entrepreneurs, be it government, be it corporations, all of them that are looking to get into the blockchain space. And some of them have been in it a while, some of them are just getting into it. And it's really about building that community, providing support, guidance, and also kind of facilitating a voice for the industry. So obviously, as you know, there's a lot changing, and the industry needs a voice. So we're looking really at an organization that really brings all of that together.
Now, Sharon, I should note for the interest of our listeners here that you used to be the head of marketing for no less than the Royal Mint. So you jump over to the British Blockchain Association. Was that also a leap of faith?
Well, actually, so yes, indeed, I was the head of marketing at the Royal Mint. And while most people will know the Royal Mint for the coins in the UK circulation, the Royal Mint does actually make coins for 50 other countries in the world. But one thing that's very interesting about the Royal Mint is it's an 1100-year-old company, and you don't get to be 1100 years old unless you've been a little bit innovative. So while a lot of people don't associate the Royal Mint with innovation, it is actually very innovative. And that's essentially with a project at the Royal Mint, which was Royal Mint Gold, which was essentially bringing gold to blockchain. That was the project that I launched at the Royal Mint, and that is essentially how it got me into the blockchain space. It's how it got me into the community, and it's really what got me thinking and very excited about everything else that is happening in the blockchain space. So in actual fact, I don't really feel it is a bit of a leap of faith, because I think that it's absolutely exciting times for the industry. And I'm really excited now that so many different types of ventures are getting in. Blockchain started out a lot in the finance space, as you know, and with the cryptocurrency space. But now we can see so many different aspects of it, be it healthcare, be it insurance, and finance, of course. But there's so many logistics, there's so many different things that are getting in this space that really, you know, the world is your oyster. So absolutely, I'm thrilled to be part of the British Blockchain Association, and really excited to deliver on our mission, which is really to build that community and bring all these people doing a lot of interesting things together.
Now, Barry, you're an irascible kind of character, perhaps more comfortable as a cast member of a Guy Ritchie shoot-'em-up movie, more so than hanging out with people at the Royal Mint. How did you get involved in all of this?
Oh gosh, they have terrible problems. Irascible. Yeah. Yes, probably about right. I don't know. How did I get involved in all this? I guess they asked me, and to my surprise, when we kind of looked at what we're trying to do, and as you know, Pierre, yes, I probably do have a bit of a reputation for speaking my mind, but that's a lot to do with innovation and pushing the boundaries and supporting innovators, and has been over the last few years. And when I kind of realized that, this kind of this new organization, the BBA, really are actually interested in that. It's for real. And let's be honest, it's about reinventing the world. It's about reinventing money. Therefore, it's about reinventing also the business, and it's about reinventing the internet, which means reinventing pretty much everything. So, I guess, whatever image you might have of the BBA from its name and its associations, it's fundamentally about rebuilding the world. I'm in.
I think a lot of people are in. All right, look, the Global Blockchain Ventures Scheme is a collaboration between the BBA and Token Intelligence. Tell us a bit about that, how that came to be, where you're taking it, and who's on board.
Well, when we were looking at basically the membership and what the value is for BBA members to our customers, we really understood that we did have a very specific set of customers, which were really these ventures, these startups, these entrepreneurs. And when we asked them, what is it that you want from the BBA? What they're really looking for is visibility. In all honesty, they've got new projects, they've got new ventures, they're either looking for funding, they're looking for marketing support, they're looking for legal support. But I think what they're also struggling with is really being able to kind of cut through the noise and have their venture, their token, their ICO really kind of percolate to the top. And that's really where the idea for this collaboration with Token Intelligence came in, is because Token Intelligence has that capacity to help the ICOs or the tokens really show that level of trust and authenticity. And once we can do that for our customers or our members, then we can essentially help them promote their product. But obviously, we are the British Blockchain Association, and so while our vision is to help all these new players, we need to make sure that we're not helping any rogue traders out there, so to speak. So again, it's really a win-win situation for us, for our members, and the whole blockchain community in general.
Now, Barry, the ICO community has its pros and cons, has its cheerleaders and boo birds, and we're seeing a wide breadth of activity relating to the raising of funds under the auspices of an ICO of one kind or another, and more recently STOs as we go along. But the last time I looked at the CoinMarketCap website, we're closing in on 2,000 coins. Is there a need in the world for 2,000 coins, and how do investors distinguish the good from the bad and the ugly?
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked that question, because in order to answer it, that we created Token Intelligence in the first place. I actually was at a conference in LA and listening to people and realizing how difficult it is for people, particularly people who are familiar with the field, to get their heads around, well, blockchain in general, but in particular, looking at a token or a coin and understanding, how to make sense of it, and that's why we started down this road of saying, okay, can we do this? Can we create a really simple to understand? And we ended up fairly quickly with red, amber, green to go along with a rating, a transparency rating. But can we create something that people can understand, that gives them a good starting point. Now, it's really difficult to predict, as you well know, as we all know, whether a venture of any kind, a new venture of any kind, is going to be successful. You know, the attrition rate is always going to be high, particularly when you add to the fact of a new venture high innovation. So it's kind of risk squared. So actually being able to say to people, well, this one's going to succeed, it's just not possible. What you can do, and what's extraordinarily valuable, and this is something we bring from all our experience with crowdfunding, is you can look at projects, you can look at ventures, and rate their transparency and measure it. And that's incredibly powerful and important, both in terms of pushing out bad actors and scams, but also it's incredibly helpful because one of the big success factors, even for a good team with a good idea, is being able to communicate well and clearly. So you know, that really is a summary of how we came to create the system that is now embodied in token intelligence, and of course, I guess the join with the objectives that Sharon just described for the BBA is pretty obvious.
Well, I find it fascinating. Let me ask you two questions here as we start to close this out. The first one is, you're the British Blockchain Association. You're going to have listeners from around the world through our conversation today wondering about their own backyards. But for those that might want to outreach directly to you, how do they go about doing that?
So yes, we are the British Blockchain Association, but this really is the global blockchain venture scheme. So we don't restrict our membership to British companies. In fact, we encourage international companies to join us because, again, it's really about the community. And also for Token Intelligence platform, we're not restricting this at all to British companies. So yeah, so I mean, the way to reach out is to come to either of our websites, tokenintelligence.io or the British Blockchain Association.org, and you can find out about both of us.
Yeah, and I guess that leads directly into my last question, and it's a real dovetail because of it. You know, in my experience, I'm a former board member of what was called the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada. We changed the name to the Blockchain Association of Canada, but I was on the board of that for 3 years. I have, through the auspices of the activities we're doing here with Blockchain Radio, engaged in conversations with people from the Kenya Bitcoin Association, the Tanzania Blockchain Association, other organizations around the world, the Bitcoin Foundation, for instance. Are there natural alignments that are going to be formed here with those types of agencies, those organizations who might be listening to you right now and saying, hey, for our own purposes, we should be tapping into their knowledge base and seeing what we can do to strengthen things up and help them? Is that something that you envisage?
Oh, absolutely. We do have international committees. So within our board, on our committees, we have an international committee and they have members across the globe. We are recruiting new members. Any volunteers out there from any of these organizations that want to join our board, certainly reach out. And we're also absolutely interested in joint marketing relationships with these organizations. And maybe, Barry, you want to comment on your side from the token offerings point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. Because of my personal history in terms of pushing very hard in the UK when it looked like crowdfunding was going to be extinguished because of regulatory concerns, and pushing for a new view and a new way of looking at things and doing things, which ultimately resulted in a much more, a real flip to a supportive stance for innovation, and out of that the innovation unit, which I first suggested in the regulation, the sandboxes that have come. I'm kind of aware, and I'm in touch with a lot of organizations. You've mentioned one or two of them, Pierre, around the world, and I think that that some of it's becoming really clear that there's a new challenge here, and that's of global regulation. ICOs and token offerings and cryptocurrencies are by nature born global, and you can't. It's becoming increasingly clear you can't just make that all work and regulate it well and properly from within a patchwork of jurisdictions. So I'm increasingly working with people and associations and looking to bring them together to work out how we can work together on this. So if I might take the moment to just reach out to all those people that you've mentioned and any of the other associations, let's kind of begin to bring this together and coordinate it. I'd love to hear from you.
Excellent. Well, look, I very much enjoyed our conversation today. Thank you so much, Sharon Henley, Director of Marketing and Communications at the British Blockchain Association, and Barry James, one of our colleagues here at Blockchain Radio, but also a member of the BBA's Executive Committee and Chair of its Executive Committee for Finance, ICO DLT Startups. And Barry, also founder and CEO of Token Intelligence and ICO rad.io, which is ICO Radio. Always a pleasure to listen to you, Barry, and great to have you in conversation along with Sharon today. Thank you for joining us here, and we look forward to catching up with you downstream as things evolve on your end.
Thank you,
Well, thank
Pierre.
you for the uptick. Sorry, Sharon, you first.
Well, thank you very much. Yep, it was great to talk to you.
And thank you
Our
for
pleasure.
the uptick. And if I can just mention the URL to go to on the day when you hear this and we launch is tokenintelligence.io/BBA. tokenintelligence.io/BBA, please.
/BBA, excellent. And you'll be I'm sure using your social channels to get that out as well, Barry. So we'll look for that and give you some reverberations. Retweet that out for you.
Brilliant, thanks, Pierre.
All right, thank you for joining us here on Blockchain Radio, and thank you for listening as well. I'm Pierre Bourke in Ottawa, Canada. This is Blockchain Radio.
ICO Radio was brought to you by author, speaker, transparency and clarity advocate, and award-winning software innovator Barry James. Get in touch with the programme, put yourself or someone else forward as a guest, visit iconewsdesk.com. And if you've enjoyed the show, please leave a review. And don't forget to subscribe to get your next insights and interviews from the ICO Radio podcast.